and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be making episode 2 in my little series of turning famous paintings into a light box, and in this video I'm going to be doing the Starry Night. So a while back I put up a poll to see what you guys wanted to see for the first video of this series, and you guys chose The Great Wave. And the other option was A Starry Night by Van Gogh, and honestly I really wanted to do both. So this week I am doing The Starry Night by Van Gogh. So let's just get right into it. So I started off this piece by getting 11 sheets of cardstock with a 1/2-inch border around them, and this will be all of my layers. I start by sketching out the shape of the tree in the front because that seems like the easiest thing to plan out, and then everything else will go around it. I decided to put the tree onto 2 layers to give it a little bit of depth. So this first layer here kind of just adds more dimension, and it just kind of follows inside the shape of the main tree, and it just adds a little extra depth. And then I cut out the shape of the main tree as well. I was so excited to do this light box actually because I thought it would be really cool to try to replicate the art style of this painting because it's very painterly and you can see all the brush strokes, so I thought it could be really cool to try to recreate that in my light box. And this painting is actually really simple and there's lots of parts of it that seem very easy and just you kind of go with the flow of it. So I wasn't too careful with making everything incredibly accurate, especially the little buildings and the church. I made sure the church was correct, but kind of the fields and stuff, it's kind of okay no matter how they look because it's not super defined. It was super easy to cut out all of these layers because again, it's really simple shapes, really simple forms, and it's not very detailed and it doesn't have to look perfect. So again, it was just easy and I cut out all of the layers. And here are all of the plain layers cut out without any details. And the first part that I really wanted to focus on was the sky because that is really important and it's a huge part of this painting. So this is where the exciting part comes in. I decided that it would be really cool and it would fit the style to cut out a bunch of little like blobs, kind of like brush strokes along the whole entire painting, all of the layers, starting with the sky. As you can see here, I'm basically drawing out where all of them go and planning out the sky and the swirl and all the stars, and I just go in and I cut it all out. This is on sketching paper as well because I wanted the sky to be lighter than the rest of the layers. And this was really fun because it's super detailed. It was enjoyable, easy, and fun to do. There are different sections in the sky, like around the stars I'm gonna do things differently, and at the very bottom you see where I stopped drawing the blobs. There's a whole nother section where it's lighter. And the way I'm gonna do that is basically this whole background is gonna be this little skeleton with all the shapes cut out is gonna be glued onto tracing paper. And in the bottom sections, I'm going to do it the opposite, or cut that whole section out and do the blobs in sketching paper on the tracing paper, so it's the opposite. It's a little hard to describe, but I'm hoping you guys will see how it looks. And I was so happy with how this turned out. It looks great, I love it, and it really fits the style of the painting. And then I thought I could cut some lines into it, but then I decided not to because it's already flimsy enough and it doesn't really show anyways, so I decided to leave it out, but there's 2 lines cut into it, but it doesn't show that much, so it's fine. And see here, I put all the layers on and it looks really cool, and I'm just gonna continue this onto every single other layer, sketch out all of the blob lines where the paint would be, and then cut it all out. For the houses and stuff, I didn't do this blob technique because in the painting, they're not blobby, but I kind of just sketched out. You see all of those lines, I'm going to cut along and cut out and just add all of those details. And it's basically the same process over and over, so I'm going to talk a bit about the history of this painting while I'm working. So obviously, I'm sure everyone knows this painting. It is A Starry Night by Vincent van Gogh, who is a Dutch painter. Van Gogh was a post-impressionist painter, and he was locked up in an insane asylum, and the painting of the Starry Night depicted his view out of the window just before dawn, but the village that is in the painting does not actually exist, so he imagined that part. Van Gogh willingly submitted himself into the asylum after he mutilated his own ear and cut it off, and that is where he spent many years of his life painting, and that's when he created this painting. He painted several different versions of this painting and his view out of the window, but this one became the most known. Van Gogh painted many paintings throughout his life, and some of his other more popular ones are a vase with 15 sunflowers and his self-portrait, but I think the Starry Night ends up being his most famous painting ever. And with all that, let's just get right back into the light box. I want to cover up all of these holes that I cut, so I glue around the edges and I cover it with sketching paper so it creates some lightness. And I do this on all of the layers until it is done. And that's kind of it for this light box. It's pretty easy and quick and fun. So now it's time to assemble. I use 1/2 inch thick foam board cut into 1/2 inch width strips and layer all of my layers together. I use this really deep blue for the color, and here is the finished light box. It is really one of my favorite light boxes that I've made. I really think this painterly style looks cool as a light box, and I just really like it. I like it more than the Great Wave one, and it just looks really pretty and peaceful, and it's just a really nice piece. If you want to see more paintings get turned into light boxes, comment down below what you want to see. If you enjoyed this video, please subscribe, and I will see you next time. Bye!